Hmm. Good morning, all of you. So the chapter which was going on, that is Silk Road, and we were learning about the writer's or the narrator's journey in the chapter. The chapter is written in a travelogue form. So many times we have discussed. From last 3 or 4 days we are discussing, or I am explaining the same chapter. The whole chapter contains the journey of writer when he was going to Mount Kailash. What kind of problems, what kind of difficulties he faced on the way, that is told, or that is explained in the chapter. One more thing is explained in the chapter, that what kind of actually landscapes he came across, कि किस तरह के लैंडस्केप से वो उसको क्रॉस करने पड़ते हैं, किस तरह के फिजिकल यू कैन से फिजिकल अपीयरेंस ऑफ दैट एरिया. Fine. So again we will continue the chapter. That now in the chapter the writer had reached to Mount Kailash, approximately that, and that he reached to a place, that place named Darchin. Fine. After reaching Darchin, he was feeling some breathing problem. That was going on in the chapter. He first reached to a place that was called Hor, and he described in the chapter that it was near about Lake Mansarovar. That is a very pious lake actually. That is a very holy lake when it is described in the books. Books के अंदर उसे बहुत ही holy और पवित्र और clean एक लेक के को शो किया गया है. But as he came across to the lake, and as he came across to that place, Hor, that is named Hor, his personal experience is that is the worst place, means that is so dirty place it was, and he was thinking that what kind of thing is that it is described, that Hor place is described so it was just an imaginative place, and people have described in a nice way that what kind of, means a pure water was there, a clear clean water is there in Lake Mansarovar. But as he come to the place, then his personal experience was something else. The place was actually at each and every now and then means थोड़ी जगह में there was lot of heap of garbage. कचरे के ढेर थे उस place पे. Finally he came across that place and he reached to Darchin. Just a minute. We were on this paragraph. Tired and hungry, I started breathing through my mouth. After a while, I switched to single nostril power, which seemed to be admitting enough oxygen. But just as I was drifting off, I woke up abruptly. Something was wrong. My chest felt strangely heavy, and I sat up. A movement that cleared my nasal passages almost instantly and relieved the feeling in my chest. Curious, I thought. The writer is saying that it was an hilly area and he was feeling gasping problem. Gasping means breathing problem उनको आ रही थी, लंबे सांस लेने पड़ रहे थे उनको, because he was at a height from sea level. Fine. Tired and hungry. He was tired and hungry because he had just eaten some hot noodles in Hor, in a cafe in a Hor. मतलब lunch में उसने सिर्फ hot noodles ही खाए थे. That's why he was hungry also and tired, because for the whole day he was on journey. I started breathing through my mouth. Now he was facing problem to breathe in with his nasal passages, nostrils. So he started breathing from his mouth. After a while, I switched to single nostril power, which seemed to be admitting enough oxygen. Means after some time, I stopped breathing from my mouth and I started breathing in from one of my nostrils. मेरे एक नाक से सांस लेना start किया. The person is saying, and it was that कि I was getting some enough oxygen, means the sufficient oxygen I was taking in. Just as I was drifting off, as soon as I lay down, I woke up abruptly. Means जैसे ही मैं लेटा, after a few minutes I woke up abruptly. Abruptly means immediately I woke up again. Something was wrong. I felt that something was wrong with me. My chest felt heavy, strangely heavy, and I sat up. I was thinking that my chest, there is something heavy in my chest, because he was getting some cold problem actually. I sat up. A movement that cleared my nasal passages almost instantly. As soon as I sat up, my nasal passages were unblocked, means they became clear. If you noticed, आपने कभी notice किया हो, whenever we get a cold, when we are sitting, we can breathe in easily, but as soon as we lay down on the bed, our nasal passages gets blocked, and whenever we sit up again, then our nasal passages are cleared up. होता है ऐसे, हमारे साथ भी होता है. Fine. So it was same thing was happening with him. Cleared my nasal passages almost instantly and relieved the feeling in my chest. And he was feeling that there was something relief. I was feeling some relief in my chest. Curious, I thought. And I was thinking that it is so much strange that how did it happen immediately? A few minutes later or a few seconds earlier, I was feeling so much problem, but right now I am very well. I lay back down and tried again. Same result. I was on the point of disappearing into the land of node when something told me not to. It must have been those emergency electrical impulses again, but this was not the same as on previous occasions. This time, I wasn't gasping for breath. I was simply not allowed to go to sleep. Now, because he was feeling relaxed, so he thought that I should lay again. I should try to sleep now. So I lay back down and tried again. I tried to sleep again. Same result. Same result means as soon as he lay down, he again getting the breathing problem. I was on the point of disappearing into the land of node, and I was thinking that it was just going on in the narrator's mind that in that land of node, means ये जो land है, यहाँ पर आकर I will be disappearing, means I will meet a death. He was thinking in his mind that I will be dead here. When something told me not to, but something was there in his mind, maybe I will be alive. Means that kind of negativity was going on in his mind that if I will sleep, then I can get breathing problem, or it may be possible that I will be dead while sleeping. कि मुझे सांस आए ना और शायद मैं सोता सोता ही मर जाऊं. He was thinking. It must have been those emergency electrical impulses again. Electrical impulses is called that kind of ideas, that kind of feelings were going on in his mind that time. But this was not the same as the previous occasion. But it was not the same as the previous occasion. He was also getting breathing problem in the last paragraph also. But it is something different now. This time I wasn't gasping for breathe. Means मुझे सांस तो आ रही थी, सांस लेने के लिए सिर्फ गैस्प नहीं कर रहा था. I was simply not allowed to go to sleep. I was breathing in, but I was not able to sleep. मुझे नींद नहीं आ रही थी, because something negative was going on in his mind that I could be dead. That's why this actually he was feeling uncomfortable, and this uncomfortability did not allow him to sleep. Fine. Sitting up once more immediately made me feel better. I could breathe freely and my chest felt fine. But as soon as I lay down, my sinuses filled and my chest was odd. I tried propping myself upright against the wall, but now I could not manage to relax enough to drop off. I couldn't put my finger on the reason, but I was afraid to go to sleep. A little voice inside me was saying that if I did, I might never wake up again. So I stayed awake all night. The writer is again saying that Sitting up once more immediately, means because he could not sleep, he was feeling uncomfortable. That's why sitting up once more immediately. Immediately I woke up, or I sat up again, and made me feel better. As soon as I sat, as soon as I was sitting, I was feeling better than before. I could breathe freely. Now I could breathe freely, means breathing in was going on, and my chest felt fine, and my chest was not heavy now. I was feeling little bit better than before. But as soon as I lay down, my sinuses filled. Both my nostrils were filled. जैसे ही वो लेटता था, उसके both the nostrils were blocked. Actually, again and again the same procedure was going on, and my chest was odd. And as soon as he lay, his chest was again heavy. I tried propping myself upright against the wall. What he tried? He tried just to take a support from the, you can say, from the wall, against the wall. He tried to sit against the wall. Finally he thought, when I am lying down on the bed, then I am getting breathing problem. So what he wanted, he just sit against the wall. अपना जो पीठ है वो वॉल के साथ लगाकर बैठ गए वो, and now I could not manage to relax enough to drop off. But in that condition also he was feeling problem. What kind of problem he was facing, that he could not manage or relax enough to drop off. He could not sleep in that posture also. जिस posture में वो बैठे हुए थे दीवार का सहारा लगाकर, he could not sleep at all. I could not put my finger on the reason, but I was afraid to go to sleep. I could not find the reason that why I am uncomfortable, why I am feeling so uncomfortable. But it's saying that, but finally I could say that I could not sleep at all. A little voice inside me was saying that if I did, I might never wake up again. Why he could not sleep? The reason is told now, that he was having a fear in his mind. There was a great fear in his mind that if I will sleep, I wouldn't be able to rise up again. कि मैं कभी नहीं उठ पाऊंगा. ये दिमाग में उनके डर था राइटर के. That's why he was feeling uncomfortable to sleep. So I stayed awake all the night, and because of that fear did not allow me to sleep. ये जो डर था मेरे दिमाग में, इसने मुझे रात भर नहीं सोने दिया. I could not even sleep for a single minute. Satin took me to the Darchin Medical College the following morning. The medical college at Darchin was new and looked like a monastery from the outside, with a very solid door that led into a large courtyard. We found the consulting room, which was dark and cold and occupied by a Tibetan doctor who wore none to the paraphernalia that I would been expecting. No white coat, he looked like any other Tibetan, with a thick pullover and a woolly hat. When I explained my sleepless symptoms and my sudden aversions to lying down, he showed me a few questions, which feeling the veins in my wrist. Next day, in the morning, Satin took me to the Darchin Medical College. Darchin Medical College, that was a college for the practice also, means for medical students. It was a college for medical students also, and it was a hospital also. So Satin took me to that college the following morning. Following morning means upcoming morning, next morning you can say. The medical college at Darchin was new and looked like a monastery from the outside. It was a new college and it was looking like a monastery. What is monastery? Can anybody tell me what is a monastery? A place where monks live. Means जो बौद्ध धर्म को फॉलो करने वाले जो वो होते हैं ना, आप लोगों ने देखा होगा कि monks टाइप जो होते हैं, जो भगवा कपड़े पहनते हैं, and that kind of person, bald person होते हैं. Fine. So that means that kind of person live in a monastery. So that was not looking like a college, medical college. That was not looking like a medical hospital. It was looking like a monastery, and with a very solid door. Means its door was too heavy. That led into a large courtyard. That was opening into a courtyard. एक बहुत बड़े आंगन में खुल रहा था वो, इसका मेन जो गेट था. We found the consulting room. At last we found the consulting room, which was dark and cold and occupied by a Tibetan doctor. Means that door was so cold, you can say. It was too cold in that door, inside that room, and it was completely dark in that room. And when we noticed that a Tibetan doctor was sitting, who were none of the paraphernalia. Means paraphernalia means he was not wearing doctor kind of dresses, as like white coat or trousers or shirt. Nothing. He was not wearing that kind of dresses. Means एक तरह से जो डॉक्टर के ऑक्यूपेशन को सूट करता हुआ ड्रेस अटायर नहीं था उसका. अटायर इज कॉल्ड जो हमारा लुक होता है, ये जो हमारा ड्रेसेस का लुक होता है. हिज अटायर वाज नॉट सूटिंग हिज प्रोफेशन एक्चुअली. And I had been expecting, what I was expecting, that the doctor must have worn that kind of dresses, but no white coat. He looked like any other Tibetan with a thick pullover and a woolly hat. He was looking like another Tibetans who were wearing a pullover. Means a pullover is called means एक long sweater जो होता है, that is called pullover, and a woolly hat. When I explained my sleepless symptoms and my sudden aversion to lying down, I explained my problem. I explained my situations to him. Means the symptoms which I was getting last night and my sudden aversion. Aversion means when I was sudden getting an attack type things. Means I was getting up again and again, and I was sleeping again and again. That kind of things or that kind of symptoms or situation, I explained each and everything. He shot me a few questions. He asked me some questions while feeling the veins in my wrist, and he was checking my pulse also. Means in my wrist he was feeling my veins or pulses also. It's a cold, he said, finally through setting. A cold and the effect of altitude. I will give you something for it. Finally, when after checking my pulse, he said that it is just a cold. No worries. Fine, it is just a cold. He said finally through setting की तरफ देखकर बोला that it is just a cold, a normal cold. A cold and the effect of altitude. Altitude means because they were on height now from the place where he used to live. So he was on a height, that's why he was getting that gasping or a breathing problem. I will give you something for it. And he said to me that I will give you something, means I will give you the medicine for solving your problem. I asked him if he thought I would recover enough to be able to do the Kora. Oh yes, he said, you will be fine. So finally I asked him that I was in tension that I would be able to complete my Kora which I have come from. जिसके लिए, जिस पर्टिकुलर टास्क के लिए, जिस पर्टिकुलर वर्क के लिए मैं इतना दूर चलकर आया हूँ, if I would be able to complete that work. So the doctor assured me, yes, I would recover enough to be able to do Kora. He said that yes, you will recover and you will be able to perform your Kora. Fine. Oh yes, he said, you will be fine. He said that, oh, you will be fine in some days, or you can say within 1 or 2 days. I walked out of the medical college clutching a brown envelope stuffed with 15 screws of paper. When I came out of the medical college, means after consulting the doctor, when I came out of that building, clutching means I was holding a brown color envelope. He was having a brown color envelope in his hand, stuffed with 15 screws of paper. 15 screws of paper means small packets. छोटे-छोटे जो पुड़िया में जो दवाई दे देते हैं ना पैक करके, that screws of paper that envelope was stuffed, means 15 screws of paper were kept inside that envelope. I had a 5-day course of Tibetan medicine which I started right away. Means I had 5-day course of medicine. Whenever we get cold or fever also, we also take 5 or 7 days course. So he took 5 days course of Tibetan medicine which I started right away. He started taking the medicine that time only. I opened an after breakfast package. Just then he has taken breakfast and after that he opened that after that breakfast package. हमें जैसे नाश्ते के खाने के बाद रात के खाने के बाद मेडिसिन दिया जाता है, इसी तरह से उसको ब्रेकफास्ट के बाद वाला मेडिसिन उसने ओपन किया and found it contained a brown powder. And I noticed that in that screw of paper, brown color powder was there. And I had to take with hot water. He was to take it with hot water. He took it. It tasted just like cinnamon. Cinnamon is a, you can say, it is a मसाला होता है ये एक. cinnamon is called दालचीनी. Fine. So it was just looking like or tasting like cinnamon. The contents of the lunchtime and bedtime packages were less obviously identifiable. Means the medicine that was kept for lunch, after taking lunchtime or after taking bedtime, when I opened both, they were obviously identifiable. Identifiable means I could hardly, means these were of same type. I could not identify them. There was nothing, not a difference between both the packets, both the screws. Same तरह की दवाई थी, lunch time की और bed time की. Both contained small spherical brown pellets. Both were containing small brown pellets. Brown pellets means छोटी छोटी गोलियां थी. Both kind of packets में they looked suspiciously like sheep dung. It is just a funny dialogue that these small pellets were looking like sheep dung. Sheep का जो पोटी होता है उसकी तरह का नजर आ रहा था. Suspiciously means he was just imagining that it is looking like sheep dung. But of course I took them. But I had to take them. The writer is saying I had to take them, and so I took them also. That night after my first full day's course, I slept very soundly. After taking the medicine for the whole day, he said that I slept soundly, means a very relaxed sleep I got that day, that night, like a log, not a dead man. I was sleeping like a log. Log means a piece of wood. Fine, a piece of wood. मतलब एकदम शांति से बिल्कुल cool होकर peacefully he was sleeping, not like a dead man. Now I was not feeling any gasping problem, so I was just sleeping like, means without any movement he was sleeping for the whole night. So we will continue the remaining chapter tomorrow. Yeah, I think it will take 1 or 2 days more. Fine. Right now the time is completed, so we are leaving. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.